Morning class, are you ready for today's recitation? Have you studied Imogene King's biography?
Yes, miss.
Yes, miss.
Okay, let's proceed. So I have a wheel of names, and when I call you, you have to answer 2 of my questions. That will be equivalent to 50 points. Understood?
Yes po.
Yes po.
For our wheel of names, we will first have Miss Villena. Are you here?
Yes, miss. I'm here.
I will be sharing my screen with you so that you can be able to read the questions. If you fail to answer, there is a chance that the question will be asked again.
Understood, miss.
Okay, Miss Villena, here are
Here
your
are your
questions. Number 1.
Number 1.
Who is the theorist behind the goal attainment theory?
The theorist behind the goal attainment theory is Imogene Martina King.
Number 2, where did the Imogene King conducted a World Health Organization research seminar?
Imogene King conducted a World Health Organization nursing research seminar at Manila, Philippines.
Good job, Miss Villena. Your score is 50.
Thank you, miss.
Next in our roulette, Rosales. Hello.
Hello po, miss.
Good to hear. These are your questions. Number 1. When did Imogene King develop her theory, goal attainment theory?
It was developed in early 1960s.
Number 2. What was the career Imogene King first took before nursing?
The career Imogene King first took before nursing is teaching po.
And follow-up question, who influenced her to change her career?
It was her uncle who influenced her to become a nurse since his uncle is a town surgeon po.
You got a perfect score. Next, Miss Silarde, are you here?
Miss, she's here po pero hindi po siya nagre-respond.
Miss Silarde,
Yes, ma'am. Sorry for not responding earlier po.
that's fine. Are you ready for the recitation?
Yes, ma'am.
Your questions are, number 1, in what year did Imogene receive a nursing diploma?
In 1945, Imogene received her nursing diploma, ma'am.
Number 2, from what university gave her the diploma?
In St. John Hospital School of Nursing in St. Louis, Missouri.
Good. You got a perfect score as well. Next would be Velasco. Here are your questions. Number 1. Recite the date when Imogene King was born and the date she died.
Imogene King was born at January 30, 1923. Then she died at December 24, 2007.
Number 2. Imogene King is a long-time member of what association?
She is a long-time member of American Nurses Association or ANA.
Good. You got 50. Next, Mr. Salamat.
I'm here, miss.
Here are your questions. Number 1. Imogene King served as an Assistant Chief of Research branch in Division of Nursing at the U.S. Department of Health, Education, and Welfare under whom?
Under Jesse Scott, miss.
Number 2. Between what year?
Between 1966 to 1968, miss.
What did her first story appeared in the article?
The first jury appeared the year 1964.
And for the follow-up question, who edited her article in the journal Nursing Science?
Edited her article in the journal is Martha Roger, miss.
Very good. You will receive a perfect score as well. Next, Miss Santos.
Hello, ma'am.
These are your questions. Number 1. What is the title of Imogene King's article that was published in 1968?
The title of Imogene King's article that was published in 1968 is a conceptual frame of reference for nursing.
Number 2. Cite the books published by Imogene King, included the date it was published.
The first book Imogene King published is Toward a Theory for Nursing, General Concepts of Human Behavior, published in 1971. and Theory for Nursing, Systems, Concepts, Process in 1981.
Thank you, you got 50. Next is Miss Uy.
I'm here po, ma'am.
Okay, here are your questions. Number 1. According to Imogene King, what are the 3 interacting systems in the goal attainment theory?
The 3 interacting systems in the goal attainment theory, according to Imogene King, are the personal system, interpersonal system, and the social system. The concepts are, the first concept is the personal system concept are perception, self-growth and development, body image, space, and time. The second concept for interpersonal system are interaction, communication, transaction, role, and stress. While the third concept for the social system are organization, authority, power, status, and decision-making.
Well done, you got 52. The last to recite will be Miss Rey.
Hello po, Miss.
Here are your questions. Number 1. In what college she was appointed to be a professor in 1980?
She was appointed to be a professor in University of South Florida College of Nursing in Tampa in 1980.
Number 2. Provide the timeline for Imogene's awards and honors.
For 1973, the Theory for Nursing, General Concepts of Human Behavior, Imogene King's book received the American Journal of Nursing Book of the Year Award. In 1980, she was awarded an honorary PhD from Southern Illinois University. In 1989, she received the STTI Elizabeth Russell Belford Founders Award for Excellence in Education. In 1996, she received a Jesse M. Scott Award. In 1997, King received a gold medallion from Governor Childs for advancing the nursing profession in the state of Florida. In May 1998, she received an honorary doctorate from Loyola University, where her nursing collection is housed. While in 1999, King was inducted into the Teachers College, Columbia University of Hall of Fame. In 2004, she was inducted into the FNA Hall of Fame and the ANA Hall of Fame. While in 2005, Imogene King was introduced as a living legend.
Very good, Miss Rey. The timeline was explained clearly. You'll receive +5 in the quiz.
Thank you po, Miss.
Okay, now that we're done in the recitation, I will first give you a 15 minutes break so that you can relax or eat before we proceed to the reporting. We'll be the reporters for today.
Our group po, Miss.
Okay, take this time to prepare for the reporting. You may now take your break.
What if I become a nurse in the future? Good morning, ma'am. Here's your prescribed medicine. I will be the one assisting you for you to properly take it. May I ask if you had eaten anything before this?
I don't want to drink that. Get out of here. Don't bother me and mind your own business, please.
But, Mom, you have to take medicine in order for you to fully recover.
Mercy Devery just laxolence. I told you that I do not want to.
Then, go home.
Hi, Jainah. How are you? You look so stressed today. Come here, you can tell me.
Hi, Nurse Helly. It's good to see you. I have a lot of things to tell you.
Hey, what's wrong? Why do you feel so blue right now?
You see, there's a particular patient in the ward that is so stubborn. And not just that, she is so rude. She even shouted at me saying that she won't take the medicine and to mind my own business. Well, as a nurse, our job is our business to do. Whatever we could for outpatient well-being. And that's a common sense, right? She even shouted at me. She should at least know that being here, admitted in the hospital, she must know how to respect a nurse like me. I asked her nicely, and to my surprise, I just don't know what to do now. She's neat, a cooperative type of person.
You know what? You should start practicing Imogene's principle.
Who is Imogene?
Imogen King is the brain behind the theory of goal attainment. Hey, Jainah. Have you had your lunch? It looks like you've spaced out. You didn't even turn off your camera.
Oh, wait. I didn't notice. Wait, we had a break?
Yes, and unfortunately, it's almost over.
Okay, we will now proceed with the discussion of the goal attainment theory by Imogene King. Mr. Salamat, is your group ready?
Yes, Miss.
Good day everyone! Today, we are going to present Imogene King's goal attainment theory. The theory of goal attainment was developed by Imogene King in the early 1960s. It describes a dynamic, interpersonal relationship in which patients grow and develop to attain certain life goals. This theory places the patient at the center focus, with the nurse facilitating and supporting people in maintaining and caring for themselves. Dynamic conceptual systems. The figure, which will be shown on the next slide, demonstrates the conceptual systems that provided one approach to studying systems as a whole rather than as isolated parts of a system, and was designed to explain the organized wholes within which nurses are expected to function. These are the three interacting systems of theory of goal attainment: the personal system, the interpersonal system, and the social system. King has interrelated the concepts of interaction, perception, communication, transaction, self, role, stress, growth and development, time and space into a goal attainment theory. These three interacting systems will further be discussed later on. Process of interaction. According to King, the human process of interactions formed the basis for designing a model of transactions that depicted theoretical knowledge used by nurses to help individuals and groups attain goals. This is the model of the process of interaction. According to the theory of goal attainment, the nursing process is an action, reaction, and interaction whereby the nurse and the client share information about their perception in the nursing situation. It is also a process of human interactions between the nurse and the client, whereby each perceives the other and the situation. And through communication, they set goals, explore means, and agree on means to achieve goals.
Good day, I will now be discussing to you the three interacting systems created under the goal attainment theory. To explain further the concepts for the personal system, growth and development can be defined as the processes in which people's lives, through which they move from a potential for achievement to actualization of the self. The next concept is that body image is how one person perceives both one's body and others' reactions to one's appearance. Space includes that space exists in all directions, in the same everywhere, and is defined by the physical area known as the territory and by the behaviors of those occupying it. Time is defined as the duration between one event and another as uniquely experienced by each human being. It is the relation of one event to another event. And the last concept that Imogene King added in 1986 is learning. It is a sub-concept of the personal system, but she did not further explain it, so we'll leave it as it is. Interpersonal system. It was stated by Imogene King that interactions between humans is developed from this. A dyad is made up of two interacting persons, a triad is made up of three, and a small or large group is made up of four and more. The complexity of the interactions grow as the number of interacting individuals increases or grow, and communication, interaction, role, stress, and transaction are all are all ideas that must be understood in order to comprehend the interpersonal system. So I will now further explain the ideas. The characteristics of the role includes reciprocity. A person may be a giver at one time and a taker at another time, with a relationship between two or more individuals, functioning in two or more learned, social, complex, and situational roles. The last one idea that is under the interpersonal system is the stress. Stress is a dynamic state whereby human being interacts with the environment to maintain balance for growth, development, and performance. It includes or involves change of energy and information between the person and environment for regulation and control of the stressors. Imogene King defined communication as the process whereby information is given from one person to another, either directly in a face-to-face meeting or indirectly through telephone, television, or the written word. Transaction is a process of interaction in which human beings communicate with the environment to achieve goals that are valued. To simply say it, it is goal-directed human behaviors. The characteristics of the role includes reciprocity. The last interacting system is the social system. It is consisted of groups that make up a society. Examples of this type of system are religious, educational, and healthcare systems. This shows how the nurse interacts with co-workers, superiors, subordinates, and the client environment in general. It provides a framework for social interaction and relationships and establishes rules of behavior and course of action. It includes 4 concepts. The first one is power. Power is the capacity to use resources in organizations to achieve a goal. Status is the position of an individual in a group or a group concerning other groups in an organization. It is identified that status is accompanied by privilege, duties, and obligations. Decision-making is the third concept, which is defined as a dynamic and systematic process by which goal-directed choice of perceived alternatives is made and acted upon by individuals or groups to answer a question and attain a goal. The last one is control, as a sub-concept in the social system, but did not further discuss it.
Next is proposition of the jury. They have 8 juries. First is, if perceptual interaction occurs is present in the nurse-patient interaction, the transaction will occur. Second, if the nurse and patient make the transaction, the goal or goals will be achieved. The third, if the goal or goals are achieved, satisfaction will occur. Fourth, if the goal or goals are achieved, effective nursing care will occur. Fifth, if transactions are made in nurse-patient interaction, growth and development will be enhanced. The sixth, if role expectation and role performance perceived by the nurse and patient are congruent, by transaction will occur. 7. If role conflict is experienced by either the nurse of the patient or both, stress in the nurse-patient interaction will occur. Lastly, if a nurse with special knowledge communicate appropriate information to the patient, mutual goal setting and the goal achievement will occur. Let's go to major assumption. According to Imogene King, person philosophy about human being and life influence, her assumption about the environment. Example is health, nursing individuals, and nursing patient interaction. King conceptual system and theory of co-attachment were based on overall assumption that the focus of nursing is a human interacting with their environment, leading to a state of health for individual, which is an individual to function in social rules.
And at this point, we will be discussing the meta-paradigm of this theory. The first concept is person. King described the person existing in an open system as a spiritual being and a rational thinker who makes choices, selects alternative courses of action, and has the ability to record their history through their own language and symbols. They are unique, holistic, and have different needs, wants, and goals. The second concept is nursing. As per Imogene King, nursing is the helping of individuals to maintain their health in order for them to function within their roles, regardless of age and socio-economic backgrounds. The third concept is health. For King, health is a dynamic state in the life cycle. Illness interferes that process. Also, health implies continuous adjustment to stress in the internal and external environment through optimum use of one's resources to achieve maximum potential for daily living. Lastly, environment. Environment consists of both internal and external elements.
the internal environment is found within the individual, whereas the external occurs outside the individual's control. This is very transformative as one is able to continuously adjust to changes based on his or her environment.
Theory of goal attainment in the nursing process. There are 5 theory of goal attainment in the nursing process. First is assessment. Assessment takes place during the interaction. The nurse applies his or her specialized knowledge and skill, while the patient contributes information about himself and his perception of the potential issue to conversation. Next is nursing diagnosis. The data collected by assessment are used to making nursing diagnosis in nursing process.
After diagnosis, planning interventions to solve those problems are done. Goal attainment planning is represented by setting goals and making decisions and agreeing on the means to achieve goals. Next, we have the implementation phase, which involves the activities to achieve the goals. This step results in transactions being made. Transactions occur as a result of perceiving the other person and the situation, making judgments about those perceptions, and taking some actions in response. Lastly, we have the evaluation phase, which involves finding out whether the goals are achieved or not. In King's description, evaluation is the attainment of goal and the effectiveness of nursing care.
And that's all for our presentation. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. Today, we will be presenting our journal article entitled Nursing Care to Patients with Diabetes based on King's Theory, written by Eliza Silveira Araujo, Lucia de Fatima da Silval, Teresa Maria Magallanes Morairal, Paulo Cesar de Almeidal, Maria Celia de Frietas, and Maria Villani Cavalcante Huedes. This article is taken from Araujo ESS, Silva LF, Moraila TMM, Almeida PC, Frietas MC, Huedes MVC, Nursing Care to Patients with Diabetes based on King's Theory, Rev, Pras, and Firm.
Objective. The article's objective is to authenticate Imogene King's principal theory of goal attainment and validate the effectiveness of nursing treatments to improve the well-being of a patient with diabetes.
C. Sample and methodology. Sample. According to Araujo et al., the study conducted was a quasi-experimental study before and after the intervention. Quasi-experimental is an empirical interventional study used to estimate the causal impact of an intervention on a target population without random assignment. In this study, they utilized 60 people with diabetes mellitus that enrolled in hypertension and diabetes program. The given criteria will also follow. First, 18 years of age or older. Second, male or female. Third, diagnosed with diabetes for at least 6 months. The nurses consulted the patients diagnosed with diabetes mellitus and observed the possible problems, with a view to stick to the treatment and created goals based on King's theory. The study excluded the patients with cognitive disability or dysfunction wherein communication and response will not be established, due to the reason that the theory is about nurse and client that shares information about their perception in the nursing situation. The sampling technique used is convenience sampling, where the participants are chosen from what is convenient to the researchers. By following the sampling technique, they were able to gather 60 participants, which turned to 56 due to 2 deaths and 2 deaths due to change of address.
Methodology. Before the quasi-experimental study was conducted, the researchers presented a consent form of the participants. The researchers used a quasi-experimental design based on difficulties identified in nursing consultations for persons with diabetes mellitus with the goal of improved adherence to medication. The participants are patients who are 18 years old or older of both sexes that have a diabetes diagnosis reported for at least 6 months. Those who have cognitive difficulties were excluded. The study included 60 persons with diabetes who were involved in the hypertension. Data was gathered and recorded among the patients during nursing visits, where it includes social demographic information, family, clinics, lifestyles, general health perception or monitoring, self or body image, time, human interactions, role, relationship, nutrition, and dietary supplements. Following the consultation, the patients were divided into 2 groups and subjected to 3 more nursing consultations. The intervention group, which nurses applied the theory of Imogene King. The control group, which nurses failed to apply the goal attainment theory. The form used in the consultation contained the decision made in the nurse-patient interaction process, jointly established goals, subsequent evaluation, and final evaluation. Data were collected individually during 4 visits by the researcher every 45 days. The data were organized in a database in the program Excel, transported to the software SPSS version where they processed for analytical and statistical evaluation, using parametric chi-square test and the likelihood ratio, adopting a statistical significance level of 5%.
The initial goal of nursing is to support the patient in overcoming a health problem or making health-related decisions. When the nurse-patient dyad establishes goals to be met, the interactions become more focused on these objectives, and a healthy interpersonal relationship develops. It was said that the researchers can confirm the validity of the theory of goal attainment as the basis for nursing care for patients with diabetes in the setting of primary health care based on the health variables observed and evaluated during the study. Moreover, according to the researchers, the goal was achieved since the theory proposed supported improved adherence of the patients to the treatment suggested in the agreement with them at the end of the study. Findings. Table 1 of the research presented the data in relation to the intervention group's reached goals and also the goals that they did not achieve. The results that were presented on the said table are as follows. 1. Agreement between the 3 consultations regarding the use of sweetener and also withdrawing sugar from the diet was established and was reached consecutively by 90.9%, 84.6%, and 85.7% of the patients. 2. Participants reached by 30.8%, 33.3%, and 66.7% in terms of doing physical activity to control diabetes. 3. The goals in terms of regular use of oral medication and or insulin by the patients were established as it reached by 66.7%, 100%, and 100%. 4. As observed, the patients were able to adhere to the hypercaloric diet, which was shown in the results of 25%, 60%, and 100%. 5. In terms of the carbohydrates intake control, the patients were educated regarding the effects of too much consumption of carbohydrates. 80%, 87.5%, and 88.9% achieved the goal. Proceeding. 6. In terms of the daily intake of fruits, the results were 66.7%, 100%, and 100%. 7. 80%, 85%, and 85% observed the consumption of refrigerant. 8. Weight loss was also observed for 50%, 75%, and 75% of the patients. 9. As per the consultation with the nutritionist, 50%, 33.3%, and 50% of the patients were able to perform it. 10. The results for the reduction of hyperglycemia are as follows. 60.7%, 100%, and 100% were able to obtain it. And lastly, 11. In terms of the non-confrontation with aggressive agents such as stressors, only 33.3%, 0%, and 60% achieved the goal. Table 2 of the research indicates the variables associated with the problems detected for the control group. It was observed by the researchers that even without having established goals, the patients were able to adhere to healthy living habits just by knowing that they were participating in the said research.
Conclusions. Based on the result and the findings of the study, it was stated by the researchers that the theory proposed by Imogene King, which is the theory of goal attainment, is likely to be applied in the family health strategy. Reasons for that are, patients feel that they are also responsible for treatment, patients act actively with decisive power in the possible changes for their better adherence to proposed intervention, patients are always accompanied by the same team, thus same interaction. As seen in these 2 study groups, the greater interaction between the 2, the better they adopt the adherence strategies to the proposed treatment, thereby improving the quality of life of people with diabetes. This study concludes with the conviction that nursing clinical care benefits people in a positive way, with the goal of enhancing nursing care aimed at them. Researchers concluded that the family health strategy nurse can use the theory of goal attainment as an instrument of care in order to provide professionals with effective means to assist the patient with diabetes.
Nursing implication. Diabetes is a lifelong struggle that affects everyone regardless of gender and age. This is one of the most common chronic disorders in the world, affecting up to 5 to 10% of the adult population worldwide. People with this chronic disease have a lifetime struggle with chances of multiple disorders related to altered metabolic homeostasis of glucose in the system. Others would often comment how diabetic patients miss out in life with the constant control and monitoring of food intake and sugar levels. Some patients even struggle with setting goals and creating a plan that works for them as individuals because of a lack of communication, understanding, and lack of interaction between consults to healthcare professionals. However, Imogene King's theory of goal attainment highlights the importance of action, reaction, and interaction between a nurse and a patient, in where clients communicate information, and from that they set mutual goals and then take actions to achieve those goals. By empowering treatment through this practice, they become more responsible and adherent to the treatment. Diabetic patients were the main target of the study, within the span of 4 visits every 45 days, with 40 minutes of consultation. At the consultation, the patients were divided into 2 groups, the control and the intervention group, where the theory was applied. The group where King's theory of goal attainment was used showed positive results. Patients with diabetes from the intervention group achieved their goals of adherence to the amount of use of sweetener, the practice of physical activity, regular use of medication, and food control. The research, nursing care to patients with diabetes, based on King's theory, yielded positive results in improving the patient's commitment to their medications and health routines. And because of this conclusion, we can safely say that the application of Imogene King's goal attainment theory in nursing practice and healthcare systems can greatly enhance nursing care. As the patients gain meaningful interactions with their nurses, they can identify the problems that hinder them in maintaining their proper health. And with that, goals will be set and agreed upon, and they can both work together to achieve those goals. Thus, the patient will become more active, inspired, and willing to adhere to their plan of care. According to King, the goal of nurses is to help maintain the health of patients. With this theory, not only will it benefit the patients, but also the nurses, as they can build an interpersonal relationship with their patients. In the nurse-patient relationship, nurses can find more ways of improving their nursing care, as they can share information and build goals with their patients. Nurses can be more effective in working with their patients, as they can view not only the illnesses present, but also come to an understanding of their patients in their entirety.
The overview of our reflection. Through Imogene King's theory of goal attainment, diabetic patients in intervention group showed positive results that led them to achieve their goals for treatment. The key to that is the nurse-patient relationship, which nurses have the perception, judgment, and action to react and interact with patients to attain their health goals and improve their quality of living. They highlighted the fact that the patient feels co-responsible for their treatment and acts actively with decisive power in the possible changes for better adherence to proposed care. By empowering treatment through this practice, they become more responsible and adhere to the treatment. All in all, theory of goal attainment is one of those theories that a nurse should remember and apply to bring out the best care and treatment for their patients.
Kudos in explaining the theory well, students. I'll give you extra points for the efforts. Thank you, Miss. Thank you, Miss. Good job again. You may now leave the call.
The Imogene King Goal Attainment Application. Ma'am, I'm sorry for what I said a while ago, but you really need to take this medicine for you to get better. Do you feel anything, ma'am, aside from headache and cold?
Yes, I have dysmenorrhea, that's why I feel irritated for no reason. I am very sorry.
Can you take this medicine, ma'am, and I will give you some hot pack to lessen the pain?
Okay, thank you.
Wait for a few minutes, Mom, and you will get better.
Thank you so much, nurse. I feel so much better now.
And from now on, I will communicate better.
Welcome, ma'am. Next time you should tell us what you are feeling right away so it won't lead to a serious matter.
Imogene King's theory of goal attainment.